This by far is the craziest episode of Fiona and Cake season 2 by far. So much stuff that happened in this episode that I was not expecting at all. And I went into this episode with a lot of theories and predictions and thoughts on what I thought was going to happen in this episode, what I thought we were going to see. Some of it ended up being true, but a lot of it was just craziness. This episode was absolutely insane. I mean, from the beginning of the episode, with Cosmic Owl's origins, we have the story of the two brothers, and this whole beginning sequence of the episode kind of felt almost biblical with the story that we're telling. When we see the brothers kind of pranking the people around them and causing a lot of trouble to the point where they get some major consequences for going too far. You know, they're these brothers that are kind of conjoined together, and as punishment, they get separated. One gets thrown into, like, I don't even know where. I don't even want to begin to speculate where that brother was thrown into some pit of fire. And then the other brother ends up being punished for betraying his brother and cursed to live this life of predicting everyone's deaths. And it turns out that that brother is Cosmic Owl from I don't know how many years ago. But when I tell you that that was a shock to me, I was not expecting that. I mean that. I was not expecting a Cosmic Owl Origins episode. And then what happens later on in the episode, it gets even crazier and actually a lot more sad. But I'll get into that. I'll get into that in a second. Because after we get that crazy Cosmic Owl origin, we go to the Fiona and Cake world, and we find out that Fiona ended up sparking a deal with Hannah Abadir to use some sort of mausoleum that's owned by the family. And she gets everyone together. She has Cake there. She has Marshall and Gary, and everybody shows up to see this surprise that Fiona has gotten. And actually, I was thinking to myself that it's kind of strange and maybe a little bit disrespectful for Fiona to go to Marshall Lee's mother to spark a deal when she knows that Marshall isn't on the best of terms with his mother. But I guess they kind of, came to an understanding in this episode where, Marshall's talking with Gary and they're talking about how maybe this could be a good thing, a good opportunity to have Marshall sing his song that he's gonna write and kind of get through to his mother and release those feelings that he's been having of neglect and childhood trauma as it relates to his relationship with his mother. So I guess they kind of spin it in a positive point of view. But like I said, for a second there, I was kind of thinking it's kind of wrong for you to go to someone's mother to get something that you need without consulting them, especially when you know the relationship is just it's not there. And actually, Hannah Abadir kind of proves her creepiness in this episode as well. She's kind of moving around like Hudson Abadir, with the stretchy arms and just this weird, awkward movement, this creepy movement, and even more creepy, the fact that she has a coffin, a sarcophagus, whatever that is, for her own son that she gets updated, and his face and his body is chiseled into the stone, and right next to his coffin there's another coffin with his potential partner, and Hannah is being so passive aggressive about it. I mean, you kind of get the sense that this is why Marshall has issues with his mother. Like, there's a lot they need to talk about. Hannah, her mind is just not there. And also, Cake tries to get to Fiona and explains to her, hey, listen, I saw it in a dream, which dream is going to be a big thing in this episode, but we'll get into that. But anyway, she's trying to tell Fiona, I saw this in a dream that you're going to end up being under the thumb of Hannah Abadir. It's not going to work well. Remember last episode we saw that potential future sequence where Fiona is working for Hannah Abadir, and that's not a good thing, obviously. And Fiona was being very dismissive and standoffish towards Cake, which I thought was pretty weird. But then in the episode, you kind of get the sense that Fiona's very stressed out. She feels like she can use Hannah Abadir, or she feels like she is using Hannah Abadir, and it's not the other way around. Even though Cake knows, and we as the audience knows, that Hannah Abadir is obviously smarter than she looks. She can be a very manipulative woman, and she's obviously very successful. So we know that there's more than meets the eye, especially because she's trying to be close as possible to her son. But Fiona doesn't see it, and I get why she doesn't see it. She has this tunnel vision. She has this need to protect everyone and to make things happen. So she's making deals with the devil, quite literally, in order to make things happen for the friend group. So I understand the sacrifices she's making under duress and stress. Another thing I want to point out during this cemetery sequence is when we get the first meeting of Hunter and Huntress. And I gotta say something, I feel like Huntress is being very, I don't know if negative is the right word, or rude. Rude is definitely the right word, but I just don't know how to describe it, like the feeling I'm getting from Huntress. And I get it. This is similar to Fiona. They have tunnel vision. She's trying to save Finn. She's worried about Finn. She's so focused on doing whatever she can to get her boy back. But at the same time, it's like seeing Huntress headbutt Hunter and downplay him, calling him weak. They have this coming to minds moment, literally. And they come to the realization that they are the same person, just from different universes. But Huntress just completely disrespects Hunter and actually leaves him laying flat. And I was like, man, my heart kind of hurt, because I know Hunter's like just this great person, and Huntress calling him weak and soft and laying him out like that. I guess to a lot of people that it's kind of like a funny moment, because Huntress is just so stern and tough. Meanwhile, Hunter is way more subdued and respectful. But even throughout this episode, I kind of felt like, man, Huntress is, I don't know, Huntress, you're doing a lot. But like I said, I understand why she's doing it. She's very, very stressed out, worried about Finn. Now, when we cut to Finn laying down in his coma, it was actually an interesting sequence when Marceline kind of gets like this urge. She actually gets hallucinations from the Vampire King, and he convinces her to take a bite at Finn, because they kind of points out that, the elephant in the room is Marceline. She's going to live forever because she's a vampire. So this is like a way that she can save Finn by making him a vampire, or saving his life by biting him and turning him. But it actually ends up backfiring, because Marceline bites Finn on the neck, starts to suck his blood, and she like sucks some poison out. And it's almost like the instinct to turn Finn from her hallucinations of the Vampire King was like self-sabotage in a way. Almost like, I wonder if they're gonna dive deeper into that. Why would she have this urge to do that and end up hurting herself in the process? Now, a lot of us predicted that this episode was going to have a lot of dream sequences. Based on those preview images, a lot of people even thought that the whole episode was going to be like this dream sequence, that none of it counts because it was all in the characters' dreams. And I guess it's half true, because we end up getting this entire dream sequence episode, but it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't like the characters were dreaming and now the episode ends and it's like we're back in square one. No, we end up having Finn and Huntress and Cake chasing after the Cosmic Owl because he's trying to give Finn a croak dream. And when I heard Cosmic Owl say that he's looking for Finn to give him a croak dream, I gotta tell you, I was going crazy, because I knew what that meant. It's like getting closer and closer to this idea that Finn is going to die. Like, his ultimate fate is that he's going to die, and I just can't do it. I can't have my boy die. Even though, and this is episodes back when he was in the forest laying with Huntress, he kind of made mention that he's ready to go. Maybe that he's ready to die. So it's hard. It's so hard. And it doesn't help when the characters meet up with Farm World Finn, and he's talking about how Finn saved his life, and they're kind of bouncing from dream to dream. Huntress is using Fiona's connection to Finn to try to find her Finn, get into his dream. And this was the craziest part of the episode for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to feel the same way. I mean, I cannot stand seeing Finn, even if it's just the dream version of Finn that's not the actual Finn. I could not stand seeing him get killed as many times as I had to watch him get killed in this episode. And it wasn't just that Finn was getting killed a bunch of times, it was the brutality and the filthy, disgusting way some of these deaths were, and the reaction of Fiona didn't make it any better. I mean, this is crazy to me. Like, it's crazy for me to see Finn getting murdered, let alone brutally murdered. Like, where have we gone? What point of Adventure Time fandom, Adventure Time lore, and the Adventure Time story have we gone where we're watching Finn being stabbed and beaten to death and punctured and shot by a bunch of arrows and his head getting literally chopped off? I mean, ugh. So I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit hard for me to see, but I also get that it kind of built up this idea of Fiona trying to save everyone and doing the best she can. I mean, she's even exhausting herself out fighting all these creatures with Finn. And this was actually, like, technically our first time seeing Fiona and our world Finn together in the same place and in the same episode. Even though it was just the dream version of Finn that's not going to remember meeting her, and Huntress kind of makes mention of that, Finn's not going to remember anything that happened in this dream. It was still interesting to see them team up, and actually a little bit epic, a lot bit epic, I should say. It was epic to see them team up. Now hopefully we can get Finn out of that coma and actually see them team up in reality rather than a dream sequence. And I loved the scene where Fiona's talking with Finn and he's talking about being a hero, because we all know Finn's the White Knight of Ooo, and they're speaking about what it means to do the right thing. And Finn just tells her, I mean, it's just in his heart. It's in his heart to do the right thing, to seek justice and to be a good person. And that kind of like motivates Fiona for some adventure time. So it was great to see these two characters finally together on screen for the first time. Now, this episode was not just left with those shockers, but the episode actually ended off with probably one of the biggest shockers in the entire series, when Huntress actually kills Cosmic Owl, and there definitely has to be some repercussions for that. And for me, it was actually such a sad scene, because the whole episode, Huntress is chasing down these dreams because she wants to stop the Cosmic Owl from giving Finn his croak dream, because that means it's a reality. And if she can stop the croak dream, or if she can stop Cosmic Owl from appearing in Finn's croak dream, then she can stop Finn from actually dying, or that's the logic, I'm assuming. But when she finally meets Cosmic Owl and she tells him that I have to kill you because I have to save Finn, it was actually a very sad moment for me, because it kind of seemed like Cosmic Owl was ready to die, like he was ready to go. He kind of rushes in to Huntress with her spear, and maybe that's my interpretation. Maybe it was just him fighting her, thinking that he could win, or something like that. But I don't know, let me know in the comments, did you get that feeling as well? I kind of got the feeling that he's just tired of these croak dreams and living this life of negativity and death and suffering the consequences from when he was with his brother. And I think similar to Finn, but not exactly the same, just characters, this theme of characters like knowing when their time is up and ready to go on their own terms. I kind of really got that feeling from Cosmic Owl, but you guys gotta let me know in the comments how you interpreted that scene. And it was a sad scene regardless, and seeing Cosmic Owl's lifeless body and Huntress just wanting to do whatever it takes to save Finn. And I also loved, another scene I loved in this episode is when Huntress is talking to Finn, the dream version of Finn, and she's talking to him and he's talking to her, and he ends it off with "I love you, Huntress Wizard," which kind of gave me chills, you know. But then she just walks away, you know. Huntress has this very stoic, very nonchalant attitude, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like pissing me off a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, the way she was treating Hunter kind of bothered me. And then when Finn says "I love you" and she just walks away, I was like, are you really just gonna leave Finn hanging like that, even if it's just the dream world version of him? And even Fiona makes mention, hey, Huntress, you gotta go back and tell him how you feel. You know, she's trying to teach Huntress to be more emotionally mature. And I get why Huntress is like this. I understand it's we've seen her backstory. We've seen the death and destruction that she had to face, on top of the fact that she's always been a survivor. Even as an adult, she's had to survive and thrive on being alone to protect herself. So I understand why she feels the need to be the way she is, but it's also a thing that I hope the future episodes kind of teach Huntress Wizard. Maybe she can learn from Fiona, which I'm not sure she can learn from Fiona on emotional intelligence. I mean, at the end of the episode, Fiona ends up chasing down DJ Flame once again, and they actually have like this very romantic moment. And it's awkward too because DJ Flame gets a phone call from his girlfriend in the middle of their little, flirtatious, blushing, romantic moment. And it just feels again like Fiona's going backwards with this DJ Flame stuff. Even though she really feels like Flame is like her true love, I just don't see that. And I think the dream that she saw when she was looking at DJ Flame and Hunter, and they were giving her flowers in their dream, she thinks it's DJ Flame's dream. I don't think it's DJ Flame's dream. I think that was Hunter's dream, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I do hope that Huntress Wizard gets a little bit more character development and she's able to open up and be more receptive to love and express her love a little more and just get a little softer. She can learn a lot from Hunter, even though she feels like Hunter is like the weaker, softer version of her. Hunter's not that, and she'll learn that, hopefully. Overall, this episode was jam-packed, action-packed, and absolutely exciting. One of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode so far of this season. And we still have about 4 more episodes to go. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think is gonna happen? Obviously there has to be some consequences to killing Cosmic Owl. There has to be some consequences to Fiona flirting around with DJ Flame. There's so much to unpack, so much to happen, and only 4 episodes left. Let's get into it, guys. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next Adventure Time Fiona and Cake video. Take care. Also, happy Thanksgiving to all those who celebrate. This was a nice little Thanksgiving gift. I had a great time with this episode. I can't wait to watch it again with my brother. Take care, everybody.